I'm Jake Thompson.
I'm Rebecca Fisk.
We'll be discussing how our trailer effectively creates synergy in relation to our ancillary tasks.
This includes our film poster and magazine.
We will start by talking about our trailer together. We will talk about how individual steps we took to produce it. We will then talk individually about our poster and magazines and how they work together with the trailer.
First of all, you can see here that we've used slightly high-key lighting to create a romantic mood.
You can also see in this clip that we primarily use mid-shots and medium close-ups. This is to engage the audience and aid the relationship between the characters on screen.
The fonts we've used in the graphics for the trailer is Museo Sans. We have used various weights of the fonts throughout, including 100, 500 and 700. This is to add interest to the titles.
You can see here that the colour of the graphics and the title of our film is consistent throughout. The pinky red was recommended in our audience feedback, so we decided to use it in our colour scheme.
The sound in the background of this clip is typical of that in a romantic comedy trailer. We used a stringed melody to invoke the feeling of happiness and romance in the audience. This ties together well with the connotations of love in the colour we used for the graphics.
As you can see in these clips, we have opted to use a lot of 2 and 3 shots. This is to show the relationship between characters, and the framing indicates the narrative of the story. In this particular clip, the framing shows how awkward the 3 characters initially are together.
You will notice from these clips that the majority of the shots are eye level. We did this on purpose to engage the audience and connect with them emotionally. The reason behind this is that our target audience generally idolises the characters in romantic comedy films, so we want them to feel as much as a part of the film as the characters on screen. As you can see from this clip, there are awkward moments in our trailer. This was to make it more comedic for the audience and to aid them with the understanding of the plot in the movie. Awkward shots are often accompanied by the native diegetic sound and not the background music found in the rest of the trailer. Again, this is to add humour and bring attention to the shot.
We have included our distribution and production company logos on the trailer for 2 reasons. Firstly, it raises the attention that we are the producers of the film, which is usually an indication of the budget of the film, which may make more people inclined to go and see it. Secondly, it is free advertising for our production and distribution services. Our name is immediately associated with the film. Finally, we created a film logo that would be instantly recognisable. We did this so that when they see posters and advertisements for the film, the audience will associate the trailer with the film. This was done to aid us when creating synergy with our ancillary products. Okay, so the first piece of synergy that connects my 3 products is that I've used a 3 colour rule for all of them. So here you can see my poster. I've used a dark red, slightly pinky with a light blue and areas of white in some of the cover lines. In my trailer, in the background screenshot, you can see that the sky is blue, light blue. That's why I was inspired by the magazine. And the car that one of the cast members is driving is red, and it's kind of a light tone to it, which represents the white, so you can see how that all kind of links together. And in the other example for the trailer is the typography, which is also that same kind of pinky red and against the white, tying it in together. Again, my magazine also uses a 3 colour rule, the pinky red, the light blue and white. Here you can see I've overlaid the red and white to create a kind of geometric style presentation. I think it works really nicely together, and the 2 colours complement each other really well. So I'll move on. Another way in which to create synergy is the way the fonts are the same, so you may associate this font with the film after seeing the film itself maybe. The font is actually called Museo Sans. I've used various weights. On my poster, for example, I've used weight 100 for the in cinemas and weight 700 for the number 28. This contrast again works really nicely with the colours, and I've used it elsewhere. So for trailer, I've used again the same pinkish red. For the A and production, both Museo Sans, and Pitch House is a slightly altered version of Museo Sans at a weight of 300. with Georgia being the font for Productions just beneath. And in my magazine, I've used the light blue I was talking about earlier to alternate between Museo Sans 300 and 500. And again, the red arrows to combine the 3-colour rule. Another way in which I've created synergy is by enforcing the cast members. So in my poster, this was by having then the names of the stars written at the top for people to know. They'll be able to recognise them. It may lead to them visiting the cinemas to watch this film. In my trailer, this meant including shots with all 3 of the characters together. So if it did get a screenshot such as now, then the audience knows that these are the 3 main characters. So they can associate that with the poster and the magazine and the trailer, which works really nicely. So my magazine, so the cover you can see is all 3 members of the cast, which again relates to the trailer in that you see them together, you know they're the 3 main characters. I've also singled out one particular character, actor, Megan Ormiston, playing on the preconcept that one of them would be a star because it's a conglomerate film. So, kind of coming off the back of that last point, the cast is central, and I tried to keep this consistent between the 3 products. So my trailer, I'll start with the trailer because it's the main product. The cast are always seen in pairs for most of the shots. This is kind of like confuse the audience with regards to the narrative, create a bit of interest, show relationships, and just really put the cast at the forefront of the trailer so the audience will remember them. In my poster, this is through the poses that I've used. Also again hint at narrative. Chris is seen at the same level as the other female protagonist, which kind of denotes a power shift. Again, talking about narrative. And the pose that Megan is and the facial expression she's doing in the background hint to her importance in the film, but showing all 3 cast members are important. Again, this can be seen in the magazine, although it's a little bit less intense. The facial expressions do hint to the narrative. It shows that all 3 cast members are important and integral to the film. In all 3 products, I have used some form of review or star rating system. This is quite consistent throughout. The only difference is the colour in the trailer, which is red to keep it simplistic, which was inspired by Give It a Year. In the poster magazine, I've used gold stars. Stands out, easily recognisable. People associate a great film with 5 gold stars. I saw this through my research on IMDb as well. On the poster and trailer, I have used an actual quote from Total Film, fictitious obviously. These quotes, people like the one-liners, sums up the film, or sums up what the particular magazine thought of the film. By using it in all 3, I've linked them together, so the film is shown positively in all of its advertisements. Okay, so facial expressions were key in creating synergy between the products. I've used a variation of poses, a lot of smiling. In the poster you can see Chris and Abby smiling, whereas Megan is doing a straight face. This was more of a narrative, but it is translated into the trailer as well. So in the trailer we can see 3 very different poses. The first 2 are comedic, of Megan and Abby during the montage, and the third is Chris looking quite smug. Again, another comedic moment. This links to Megan's face in the poster, which again was supposed to invoke laughter rather than fear in the audience. So with the magazine, from my research into other rom-com magazines, the cast are generally happier, more comfortable. This is why they're all smiling, although again the narrative does kind of come through the faces, the way Abby's looking up at Chris, and that Megan is looking at the camera, perhaps showing an ulterior motive, but I think they work really well together. Another like quite visual way in which they all resemble one another is the distinctive shapes and styles. So for the poster I use very angular shapes, slanted, which can be translated through to double X, and also the trailer double X, and the magazine, in which I've used very similar shapes and a slant as well. I've combined this with the colours. It works really well. Very modern approach, very clean, very typical of that of rom-coms. You can very clearly tell that these three products are related. Yeah, it works nice. So we've got the narrative cues that we can see in our my poster, trailer and magazine. In the poster, this is mainly the photograph. So the splitting of the two protagonists by Megan clearly shows some kind of obstacle in their pathway to love. This is further reinforced with the pull quote rom-com from Total Film, which invokes fear, emotions in the audience. They know what they can expect with a rom-com. It's very familiar. This relates to the trailer. Very similar things have been used. A pull quote again. The obstacle is clearly shown in, as you can see in the second screenshot. The argument in the first one, again showing the obstacles, is what's familiar to the audience. And again in the magazine, the looking up of Abby's head at Chris shows how the character is in love with them, perhaps, and you can't quite see her, but Megan is looking at the camera, like I said earlier, perhaps showing that she has an ulterior motive, perhaps to split them up. So you can see how this links to the other two products. So finally, the film logo is pretty much the same in every single product I've created, more so in the poster and trailer. Almost exactly the same. In the trailer it's a little minimalist, again inspired by Give It a Year's graphics. So the same font, same colour, same lines underneath. This is quite typical because the production company, Me, is in charge of the look above the poster and the trailer, so it's typical for the logos to be exactly the same. I tried to keep it realistic with the magazine in that the editors would change it to suit their covers more, although you can see that the fonts are the same, the outline, the style, the colour are very similar, and it's clearly linked with the other two products very clearly.